Welcome to another episode of Mouth Matters with Dr. Dom, me, Domenic Lombardi, aka Dr. Dom. Today I'm going to be talking about the world of sports with my lifelong friend, mentor, and associate, Mr. Bob Greenburg. Mr. Greenburg is the voice of sports here in the Shenango Valley. If it's a big game between any of the local teams, or whether it's even on a state level, when a team gets to the playoffs or anything like that, Mr. Greenburg is the guy behind that game, pre, during, and post game. So I want to thank you for coming.
First off, enough with the Mr. Bob.
It's a hard habit
Yeah.
to break. I've known Bob's known me longer than I can remember. Let's put it that way. So as we know, the mouth does matter. That's the whole idea of our show here. But another thing that matters is obviously sports, for a number of reasons. Sports bring us together, culturally, age-wise, gender-wise. Sports, I think, is a great mortar to the bricks of our community. So I wanted to highlight how sports and dentistry might play together, and I think that Bob could have some insights to that. Have you? Now, is there any certain story, or is there any certain image of? It doesn't have to be a professional game. If it is a professional game, that you notice someone's teeth the most.
I think the thing I see the most of is at the high school level, because I cover that the most.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll see, especially in football, where plays will be stopped if a player doesn't have his mouthpiece in or mouth guard in. And I always thought, boy, that's how important the teeth are, because if the referee, and there's a rule for that,
mm-hmm.
if you don't have that mouth guard in, I assume, and you know more than I do, you could do some pretty, permanent damage if you get hit there.
That's a great observation. So the reason for the mouth guard in sports doesn't have to be football, doesn't have to be
Basketball wears it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the one, obviously, to protect the teeth, obviously, but it's to prevent concussions, because it's serving as a shock absorber, where the whole head isn't rattled as much. If you think about the mouth, and if you can visualize this for people just listening in, the movable part of the jaw is the lower. If you want to just open and close your mouth a couple times, like that, that's the part that moves. So if you get jammed like this, that's like taking a punch, an uppercut, straight to your head. So that would be a big reason for it. The one that drives me nuts, though, is Steph Curry.
Yes. And everybody that sees Steph Curry play, every time there's a dead ball, he has his mouth guard. He bites on it, chews on it, and it's always hanging outside of his mouth, which it gets so much commentary on social media.
Well, I don't like it. It's just kind of, it's germs. There's bacteria everywhere. He's taking it. He's bouncing the ball. He's passing it all around. So there's 5 people on each team. And then, okay, so we got 9 other people touching the ball, even if that's to say there's no substitutes and no referees. So you got this stuff on your hands, and then you're just playing with it like this all the time. So obviously I'm biased. I'm a Cavaliers fan. I'm in mourning. I got my Lebrons on here. I actually didn't have the chance to talk to you about how you felt about the move from
LeBron?
Cleveland to LA for LeBron, yeah.
I am disappointed, but as a Pittsburgh fan, Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, Pitt, I've never really been a go to bed, not sleeping until the middle of the night because the NBA team lost. But I'm more disappointed for the fans of Cleveland, because LeBron leaving is going to be a big hole for that community, and it's going to hurt their economy.
It hurt. I've heard actually that it's something like $1 million per game that he infused into the downtown Cleveland economy. I feel bad about it because obviously, I like the Browns.
Well,
0-16 last year. I'm looking for a silver lining this year, but it was always LeBron who kind of kept me sane and not depressed when it came to Cleveland sports.
Now, you were talking about athletes and their teeth in sports. The ones I noticed the most, and you do too, I'm sure, is golfers. And
all those up close shots.
Tiger Woods. I mean, you see all those Ricky Fowler. And golfers are the ones that have probably the most close-ups. And I'm sure, and I'd love to know how much time and money they spend taking care of them.
I'll tell you what. I don't know about the other ones, but I was just watching this old interview from Tiger Woods. I was scrolling through Instagram, and it was, I follow a lot of dentistry stuff on Instagram. I'm a nerd. But it was an interview he had after he had broken off his front tooth. I guess it was a cameraman who had popped up and jarred him in the face at the wrong time, and they were asking him about it, and because I don't know if you remember seeing that picture. It was like he was skiing or something like that, and like he could look like he was missing a whole front tooth, and then the other one was half gone or something. And they were asking him about it, and the way he described with clinical terminology his situation, he was like, well, the one tooth already had a root canal, so the root was gone, so the nerve was gone, so that tooth didn't hurt. But the other one, it had dentin exposed with the nerve tubules that he was going on and on and on. It made me so proud, and I'm already a Tiger Woods fan.
Right. Yeah.
And it made me so proud to see someone who had a good dentist who was able to inform them, just like we're trying to do with you guys at home. Like I said, always questions. We'd love to hear them all. But I was a big Tiger Woods fan to start, and now I'm even a bigger one.
Now, I'm sure you've seen, because one of the most probably famous pictures in Pittsburgh sports history was the photo of Jack Lambert missing his teeth. Oh, yeah. And they called him Count Dracula because he looked like he had, like it was like a vampire. But, it was one of those back in his day, back in the 70s.
He was imposing.
Yeah, it was very imposing.
Yeah, leave it like that.
But obviously, he got those fixed. And I'm sure it's something that, as you've done before, would be somewhat pretty simple.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you, is there anything you're curious about? Anything that whether you had someone in your family going through a dental issue, or whether or not, whatever you may have been through that you're curious about, or if there's anything you think about that you might want to know about.
I think the biggest issue for me growing up and then getting to this part was the overcoming the fear factor of going to a dentist. Yeah. And, I'm a little bit older than you, just a little bit, but I think, times have changed dramatically in your profession to when I was a young boy going to the dentist. Really going to a dentist now, you should never feel pain. And those weren't the days when I grew up. There was, dentistry was still growing. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that, as I've gone through some procedures, not having the perception that, boy, it's going to be more difficult than it really is. It's more, mind over matter.
Yeah, it's the sound. I think, talking about that stuff, and they say that, the sound, the smell, those are the things that bring memory back the most. So when you think back to your childhood, and that's why sometimes people, even though they're not in pain, like they're obviously numb, and I always check. I have ways of knowing that you're numb. Even just a sound or like a smell of something will throw them over the edge. So. But what you said about the improvements in the technology and stuff like that, all of that stuff, like my imaging, our digital X-rays, all of our better types of restorations, the better materials, that to me all takes away the unknown, and I can show you plain as day whether there's on the computer where there's a cavity right there that looks like it could be one, but it's not. And I think that people kind of have this, it dispels their anxiety of like, oh, is this guy trying to take advantage of me? Is this guy just trying to get me to, charge my insurance company for all these fillings and stuff like that? And I think that showing people allows them to see that we really just do care. Like, I just want what's best for you. There's more than more than enough people in the world with more than enough teeth, where if nobody even had a problem, we would still be doing very well as a business, So it's like, that's where I stand with it.
And it's funny because you mentioned, I'm in radio and we talk about the power of audio. And you mentioned how the sounds, in a lot of cases, is what, frighten people. And we talk about it all the time. If you hear a song from when you were in high school.
Yeah.
It takes you back to those times. So the power of the ear and the audio is, no question, in most cases, is what puts people into that kind of frame of mind.
Heck yeah. So back to sports a little bit more. Prediction-wise, and I know you're a Steelers fan. Who wins opening day?
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Dom, and I'm going to be honest here. I've been a somewhat of a critic of the Cleveland Browns for many, many years. But I will say this. There's no question they're going to be a better football team, which,
Have you been watching Hard Knocks?
No, I haven't. But the bar is they were 0-16 last year, so pretty hard not to get better than they were a year ago. But I think with some of the players they have in, I'm not so sold on
Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, I think he's good. I think Taylor's going to be a good quarterback. The Mayfield, I think, will be good down the road. I think Todd Haley will do a good job for them as well.
Here's my prediction. Todd Haley's going to be the head coach before the end of the season.
There you go.
Anyway,
you and every other Browns fan are saying.
I know I'm the minority, so I'm going to quit boring people with talk about the Browns. The one thing that I kind of wanted to highlight was that one of the things that kind of made me want to get my message out more and be able to talk to people was the results that I saw with working with you on the radio. Some of the first advertising I ever did was with Bob, and he used sound bites of my own voice. And I think that people listening to my voice and hearing my voice and hearing how I kind of think about things allowed the people who came in after hearing that to be a little bit less nervous. And that's kind of what I'm going at with this show. I get a little tired of people being afraid of me. So if there's a thought that I could give you, if there's a thing of inspiration I could give you, is that I can't speak for every dentist. I only speak for myself, but I know that this has to be a common thought. It's that we don't care about where you work, we care about where you're going. So don't be ashamed of the situation you're in, because it's probably not even as bad as you think. But if you don't get help and things get worse, it's going to turn into not only a bigger health problem, but a bigger financial problem, and then all of a sudden you create more hurdles to get yourself back to where you could have been in the first place. So with that thought, once again, I know I'm a broken record, but I encourage you to ask me questions, encourage you to look us up, get all the information, watch our previous episodes. You can find us on LombardiSmiles.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Don't be afraid if you're interested in whitening your smile from home globally. We have Dazzle Direct, dazzledirect.health. That'll come. That you'll be able to find that on our website. I was actually gonna say if we need to send anything away to college. I know your kids are
we can do that. Yes,
school.
That's a good idea.
That would be a nice topic of conversation. If we could see the young adult females approach to cosmetics and what they think works. As far as
my daughter would be all in.
That could be fun. Once again, thank you so much, Bob, Mr. Greenburg.
Hey, wait, we're not dancing? I thought we were going to dance before we leave.
I'll give you one of my grandpa's moves. How's that?
It's a good idea.
That's about
I thought you were going to teach me how to dance.
Let me see when you
No, that's a negative.
That's it. He hides behind the radio sometimes, I guess. Once again, look for us on LombardiSmiles.com. Look for us on our different outlets, social media-wise. Think of your questions. Take pictures of your smile. If you have anything that you want me to see, count the number of teeth in your mouth. Tell me if something hurts. Whatever it is, nothing's off limits. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time.